Hey guys, Keith here from Kegland and talking today about our new Cannular Canning Machine. I'm not talking about the same Cannular machine which you've seen previously, which looks very, very similar, except this particular machine, it's a slightly bigger, slightly heavier, and also you'll notice there's no handles on either side. If you've ever seen one of our other Cannular Canning Machine videos, you'll notice that when we put the can in and lift the table up, what we have to do is move a lever back and forth which pushes the rollers in from either side to seam the can. This new machine doesn't have a lever, and that's because it's the new semi-auto model. So with the semi-auto model, all you have to do is literally press the button and then within 3 seconds the can is seamed. So it's a really, really fast operation, and we really felt there was a need for this type of machine. A lot of guys are using these machines at home, but at the same time, we had people using the manual machine commercially too. And some of these commercial guys were doing batches of several thousand cans at a time. And because it's such a well-built machine, lasts forever, and you know, it's one of those machines which keeps working reliably. We saw a lot of people using these for growler filling and commercially and lots of operations and breweries themselves. People have worked out ways of getting really low DO simply by using things like the bottle filling gun and purging the can out and stuff like that. So you could get really excellent commercial grade filling from a benchtop machine. However, with the previous machine, it was just too arduous for commercial breweries doing big batches and pushing that lever back and forth every time, and you'd start to get fatigue in your arm every single time you did it. So we had to make this new semi-auto machine for you guys out there. And also for you really lazy guys at home who can't be bothered using a lever and you just want to push a button and have the job ddone. Now with the older Cannular manual machine, you would have noticed if I wanted to change between different height cans like this, I'd have to buy different spacers and I'd have to put these onto the table and replace them. So that was extra cost, I guess. And if you're switching between, let's say, a 330 to a 375, or even one of these big boys, a 500ml can, you'd have to buy multiple different spacers, which is kind of annoying. So on the new semi-auto machine, we also have gone to a little bit more effort to make this threaded bar stock here a lot longer. So the underside also has a cavity which is designed a little bit differently, so the bar stock can wind all the way up or all the way down, meaning if you've got one of these 330s in there, to switch to a 500ml can, you would just wind this table down like so and then get it to the right height like that. So the one table can do multiple can sizes without purchasing extra stuff. So some of you guys who previously purchased the Cannular 1 machine or the manual machine, you would have noticed that you only could use these types of aluminium cans and there wasn't really many other options that we had. However, with the new semi-auto machine, we have got a number of other types of cans you can do. So for these steel tins, for instance, you know, these are a larger can made out of metal rather than aluminium, or made out of steel rather than aluminium. And you can see they go onto exactly the same table. So you don't need to buy a different table to use these steel cans. If you're wanting to do your own fruit preserves, or maybe you've got a bumper crop of apricots or something, you want to preserve that particular year, or you want to make your own cassava, or you want to put meat in the cans and do your own, stored meats or something like that, then cans are an excellent option for that type of thing. However, with this type of can, you do need to change out the chuck. So we sell the chuck separately for these larger steel cans. And the other thing we've changed is also inside the machine in the motor. So because the steel cans require a little bit more force to seam the can, we had to upgrade the motor in these bad boys and put a bigger DC motor in here. So the power supply which is used for these machines, it's a bigger power supply than the ones used for the smaller machines. So if you've bought, let's say, a Maltzilla or one of the Cannular manual machines, just be aware that you can't use exactly the same power supply. If you do buy the power supply for this bad boy with a higher amp rating, with that said, you can use that for the other smaller devices. So it's downward compatible, but not the other way around. Now, one of the other things you guys asked us to do from the manual machine is to make the adjustments of the roller easier. Because you guys are quite likely going to be using this machine for different can styles, we wanted to also make it much easier for you guys to change the height of the rollers, but also move the rollers in and out depending on which chuck and which can type you're doing. So we've made the adjustments to this machine so you don't necessarily have to take the cover off. What you can do is with this nut here, just get yourself a 17mm ring spanner, or you can get a socket set, actually works quite well as well. but I've got a ring spanner on me. You just undo this bolt here, and then that way you can move the arm in and out, and same thing with the other side. If you undo this bolt here, then you can move that in and out. Another way to do further adjustment on the machine is there's also a Allen key bolt just up here too. So if you look up in there, we've got another Allen key bolt. So if you do undo that there, you can also move the drive shaft here, and then that will actually that is detented. So by rotating it, you'll give the roller a slight adjustment. So it means you've got some adjustment in the X direction here, left and right, you can say. And then also with that Allen key, if you undo it, you can also move the roller in the Y direction as well with the same Allen key. So it is quite an easy machine to adjust compared to the previous manual model of machine. Now, if you know anything about beer, you'll know that it's a really oxygen sensitive product, and cans are a fantastic way to keep oxygen off the beverage. However, you've got that one complication, which is making sure it's filled to the right level or as high as possible to make sure that that headspace has the oxygen evacuated out of that. So if you look at a can, ideally you want to fill right to the top, and we want enough foam on top of that surface of the liquid, so when we're getting the lid of the can and placing that on top of the foam, it's just pushing the foam out of the way and evacuating even that small amount of oxygen which could be trapped in the headspace of the can. Now the flip side to that is, if we're filling the can up that much, almost inevitably we're going to have a little bit of foam dribbling down the side, and when we turn the canning machine on and the can starts spinning, it's going to flick some of that liquid off, and that can get on your shirt, and it gets a little bit messy, I guess. So what we have done out of popular request, a lot of you guys have said, can you make a splash guard? And that's exactly what this is. So now what you'll notice is if you put the can up like this, you can just flick the splash guard down so you don't have any of that splash hitting you on the chest or anything like that. You can turn the canning machine on like so, and you can see the splashes hit the splash guard, and once in a while you might have to wipe the inside of the splash guard down. So this type of splash guard's available for the semi-auto machine, but we've also got a slightly different splash guard, slightly different size splash guard for the manual machine as well, and they can be purchased separately. Now, one of the other things you'll notice is all the new cans now have full apertures. So literally when you open them up, the entire lid comes off. Now, some people call this a 360 type can. The beauty about it is you get the full aroma and flavor that comes out of that beverage, giving you a really premium glass-like experience in a can. We've also got these really cool stubby holders, the foam stubby holders, so look out for them on our merch section of the website. Anyway, that concludes it for today. If you want to hear about any of the cool stuff we're working on, definitely hit subscribe right now, bottom right-hand corner. Just subscribe now, so when we bring out cool new gear like this, you'll be the first one to hear about it. The other thing you can do is join the Kegland Facebook community group. We've got an active group now with thousands of members who are sharing tips and tricks on how to brew, and it's where we will give out discount codes first. So if you want to be up to date with all the cool new stuff and talk to people just like yourself, join that group as well. All right, thanks for that, guys. Hope to see you next time. Bye.